The Trump administration may begin deporting migrants to Libya as soon as this week. CBS News has learned from two U.S. officials that these deportations would be operated by the U.S. military. Libya is one of the roughly 24 countries the State Department warns Americans not to visit and has a level 4 travel advisory. The advisory says not to travel there due to crime, terrorism, unexploded landmines, civil unrest, kidnapping, and armed conflict. For more, let's bring in CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez. So, Camilo, what else do we know about these plans?
Well, the objective underpinning this plan, Lindsay, is deterrence. The administration wants to send a strong message to the world, really, that if you come to the U.S. illegally or stay here unlawfully, not only can you face deportation to your home country, of course, but now you can face deportation to a country across the Atlantic that is in deep political crisis, like the African country of Libya. And this is one of several countries in Africa that we understand the administration has been talking to over trying to convince them and persuade them to accept migrants who are not their citizens. And we understand, based on conversations with two U.S. officials, that the administration was planning, at least as of this morning and last night, to send at least one flight with migrant deportees to the North African country of Libya. The government there is denying that it has any agreement with the U.S., but we're not really sure what to make of that because that country is politically divided into two parts. One half is ruled by one government backed by the UN, and another part of the country in the east is ruled by a warlord. So it's really unclear whether or not there's actually an agreement. But we should also underscore, and you mentioned the travel warning, Libya has gained infamy over how it treats migrants, because many migrants go to Libya to cross the Mediterranean to get to Italy and other countries in Europe. And according to the U.S. government, the conditions inside these detention centers are brutal and harsh.
Wow. Immigration rights groups are now asking a Massachusetts judge to issue an emergency order that would block these flights. What's the latest?
Well, to level set, back in April, a federal judge in Boston said that the administration could not deport anyone to a third country unless it provided that person notice of where they were going and provided that notice also to that person's lawyer and afforded that person a chance and an opportunity to contest their deportation. But now we know that a group of advocates filed an emergency motion today, just hours ago, saying that a group of migrants from Mexico and some Asian countries were told they were going to be sent to Libya as early as this week, but their lawyers allegedly were not provided any notification, and the migrants allegedly were not provided any opportunity to contest their deportation to Libya. And now a judge has said that if the administration moves forward with that plan to deport people to Libya without adhering to his ruling, they will be in direct violation of it.
Wow, okay. And a New York federal appeals court has ordered ICE to transfer Tufts University student Rumeysa Ozturk to Vermont. What can you tell us?
Well, this is the latest setback in the Trump administration's efforts to go after pro-Palestinian activists and students who it has accused of expressing pro-Hamas sympathies or spreading anti-Semitism, although obviously those accusations have been contested by their advocates and lawyers who say that these students and activists are being punished for their political speech in violation of the First Amendment. So now they have, ICE does, until May 14 to transfer Mrs. Ozturk to Vermont, which was the state where ICE transferred her before sending her to Louisiana, where she has been detained for weeks. And when the lawyers filed the habeas application to try to seek her release, she was in Vermont. So the federal appellate court in New York is saying that because she was in Vermont at the time of that habeas claim being filed, then that court in Vermont should be hearing her claim and her entire case. So the federal appellate court in New York is now saying that this woman deserves a hearing, but in Vermont, not in Louisiana.
Gotcha. So they have to bring her back to Vermont so that her petition on whether she can be released on bail can actually be heard.
That's right. You got it.
Okay, Camilo Montoya-Galvez, thank you.